Hello, everyone. My name is Raisha, and I'm just being obedient and doing what God has called me to do and laid on my heart to do for a long time now. And I'm just actually surrendering to God and just doing His will. And it's not easy, and it's sometimes scary when you're not used to doing things. You get so used to being comfortable and complacency, but God is calling you to a higher place or to a new place or also to a new platform because we never know who God has placed in our way or who will come up on our videos that will lead them to salvation or give them encouragement or strength or hope or just to let them know that God is always there with them and even through life's journey and struggles and ups and downs that we can make it through. So I just want to start by just giving a little bit of my testimony. I was raised in church. I done been Pentecostal, Baptist, non-denominational, Methodist. Um, I strayed away from God and His will, and I had got a prophecy not even a month ago that God allowed me to do what I wanted to do, even though it was against His will. He just basically sit back and let me do what I wanted to do. But now he had to take complete navigation over my life because if he did not, I was going to destroy myself and also lose my life in the process. Um, so he gave me that warning, and it was kind of scary at the time, but I was just so thankful that was so gracious and mercy that not only did He step back and allow me to live my life, even though it was against His will, He still protected me and provided for me and blessed me through all of my wrongdoing. And He also gave me warning that, okay, Raisha, if you continue down this road, this is what's going to happen, and it's going to lead to destruction, and you will very well also lose your life. So, like I said, it's scary, but I was just so thankful that He's just that merciful and gracious to me because everyone does not get that. Everyone does not get warnings. Everybody doesn't get a second chance. There's some people that I've known that from childhood and up now that they are dead and gone. And so I just thank God for just being so merciful once again and gracious to me to give me a second chance and to warn me before I was was heading to destruction and losing my life. So I didn't have a father. I have a father, but my father was not in my life. So I think I suffered, which I did suffer from rejection. So as I got older, I look for a man to love me, always look for a man to validate me. Um, and that just all came from me not having a father. So I went through a lot of heartbreaks, even abusive relationships, to the point to where I thought that was okay and I thought that that was love. When a man put his hands on you or screams at you or yells at you, call you out his name, and then he apologized and says he's sorry, and I just thought that was normal, so I would take that man back. So I learned that I would be in toxic relationships, abusive relationships, when that's not where I was supposed to be, and that was not love. But I was so distraught and messed up in my mind from a childhood and past relationships and failures and heartbreaks and pain that I just wanted a man. And honestly, even if he was beating on me or talking to me in a kind of way, I was okay with that just as long as I was able to say, I got a man, or someone's holding me at night, or someone's beside me at night, or I'm able to call you or call him my man. Um, and it's sad that we tend to accept things like that, and that's never was God's intention for us in the beginning. So, just for one of my relationships was one particular man that abused me. I ended up getting in the strip club, and that was my way of, I guess, a little release from him, or a little release. So at the moment, I said, well, I'm going to go to the strip club, which I danced at King of Diamonds in Miami, Florida. And I was very uncomfortable, so I would have to smoke weed and I would have to drink just to be able to take off my clothes. And still then, as I was doing it, it was just so uneasy, and it was just like a feeling like I know I wasn't supposed to be there, but I was there anyway. And I did that for a little while, and then that basically came to an end. And I was out in the streets when I wasn't supposed to, dealing with men when I was supposed to, living lifestyle that I was not supposed to be doing. I was, at one point in time, I was taking ecstasy. I was smoking and drinking. Didn't ever do nothing other than those drugs, thank God. But I did do those, and that was still, still not good. But through my process and stuff like that, I learned that I was taking those things and dealing with these type of men because I really didn't know who I was, for one, and I was missing a void, and I was trying to fill that void. When all along, none of those things could fill the void, and I always ended up empty inside. So one particular night, me and the guy that I was in a relationship with at the time that was abusive, me and him, we were at the club and we decided to leave the club. Well, he had been drinking more than me, so he asked me to drive, and I was like, okay, I'll drive. And I got in the car, started up the car, and I pulled out the parking space and I made a left. Now we was in Opelika, Florida at that time. So I had turned down the street and I was just driving, and it was just like my intuition just told me to look in the rearview mirror. So I looked in the rearview mirror, and for some reason it was this particular black car, which I didn't know it was black at the time because it was kind of far back. But it was like they had bright lights on when they didn't have bright lights on, but it was just like that car slid out to me. So I started driving again. So I looked up in my rearview mirror again, and it was like, it seemed like they was coming really fast. So I told my boyfriend at the time, I was like, there's this car, it's coming up on us really fast. He was like, well, it might be the jump out boys, so just make sure you're doing the speed limit. So I'm like, okay. So I was looking for the speed limit sign to see what the speed limit was, and it was like, I think it was like 45, 40 or 45. I can't exactly remember. But I was like, okay, well, I'm doing the speed limit. And then someone told me, like, look again. And I looked again, and it's like they were coming even closer, but it was like at a rapid speed. And I say to him again, I'm like, yo, this car is like kind of like really coming up on us fast. Like, and once he said again, like, don't like, you just need to chill, just make sure you're doing the speed limit, drive straight, because you don't want to give them any reason to pull you over. So I'm like, okay. And so I'm driving again, and I just so happened to look at my side mirror, and I seen that it was a black Mercedes car, and the windows were like dark. I'm talking about tinted dark, where you could not see inside at all. And so I went to go I turned my head to keep driving straight, and all I know is I looked back to my left, and it was like kind of not toward by my window, but like the passenger window, like behind me. They hadn't came up that close, And before I could say anything else, I just heard gunshots. And I realized that I seen two men hanging out the car, and they were shooting at the car that I was driving. And all I remember, my ex at the time, my boyfriend at the time, which is my ex, him saying, "You gotta drive the car because you can't. If you let them, basically, if they get on us, like up on us to where like they're at my window, then basically like we gonna die." So I just remember like pushing my right foot all the way to the gas to where like my foot couldn't go no more, and I did it so fast that the car had to catch up. And I just began to pray, ask for forgiveness and all type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, because I had never experienced this in my life. And so next thing you know, I hear him like popping the side of his door, and next thing you know, a gun falls out. Now he's out of the window now shooting back at the car of the guys that's shooting at us. And I'm like, oh my God. So I just began to drive. Now, mind you, we are on like a back road, okay? Not on the main road. We're on like the little back road. And they have those speed bumps, you know, with the arrows, big speed bumps or whatever. And I was just like literally almost hydroplaning off of them. I was going so fast just to like try to get away. And the whole time I just hearing bullet shots, like bullets going off, bullets going off. And all I kept thinking is, you just gotta get away, you gotta get away, you gotta get away. Now, mind you, when you're on a back road, there are stop signs, speed bumps, and stop signs. So anything, those two things will cause you to slow down or have to come to a stop, right? And it's so crazy. Every time I come to like a stop sign where I feel like I will have to, like, I'll push the brake to where I have to slow down, um, it was like there was no cars there. So I was just able to keep going through, keep going through. Now we came up on, still on the side road, but we came up on where it's like the main road. Now this is where the lights are, you know, like red, green, yellow light, you know. And so I'm like, oh, now I can't get, you know, I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get through this, because I know that I'm going to come up on traffic. And it's a lot, like I said, in Florida where we was at, it's a lot of traffic on the main road. So more than likely, you're going to have to stop. You know what I'm saying? And it was so crazy because when I come to the light to stop, because like I said, we're on the main road, so the ongoing traffic would be, you know, going. It was like God changed and the light was green to where the main traffic, they had a red light, but I had the green light, so I was just able to go through the light. And as I'm going through the light, all I remember is just like, it was just a lot of, I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I just was like, God, please don't let me die. Please don't let me die. I was just like, I'm so sorry. I pray for all my sins. And I was just keep saying, please don't let me die. Please don't let me die. While I'm just driving. And it's so crazy because I was freaking out at the same time. But it was just like, at the same time, God was giving me enough of peace just to be able to get away, that I wasn't that distraught that I couldn't, you know, find my way, or, you know, keep driving or keep focused. Like, he gave me enough of peace just to keep focused, to keep going forward, keep going straight, just to get away from these men. And it went on for, I'll say, a couple minutes. I don't know exactly minutes because it felt like forever, which I know it wasn't forever, but to one point that they called, we come up on another light, and it was green. And just so happened I was able to go through the light. And just as I went through, it turned red. So they caught the light, but I was able to go through. And I was still driving at the speed because, like I said, I'm nervous and my blood pressure is up, like boiling. And so he had to tell me, my ex was like, You can stop, slow down, slow down, slow down. Like, stop driving so fast. And I wasn't hearing him because I'm still in that zone of just getting away. So he had to like tap me. It was like shake me like, right, like slow down. We lost them. Like, they got caught by the light. They got caught by the light. And so it's like I came back to myself, snapped up out of that, and I slowed down. And it's so crazy because I began to like look around in the car, and I seen bullet holes everywhere, like burnt holes in throughout the car where bullets done went through. I'm talking about like all around me. The windows had bullet holes in them. The back window had got hit so many times with bullets that it had done caved in, and you could hear it cracking, and it was like caved in. Bullets all around the car, every door, every window, all throughout the inside of the car, and not one touched me, and not one touched him. And the first thing he said to me is, "You must have a praying grandmother, or somebody must be praying for you, because I feel like if I was with anybody else, that I would have died." And it was so crazy because I ended up telling my uncle James about it, and he was like, it was either like God had took his hand and just like covered you, or like lifted you up out the car, so you didn't get hit, like a spiritual thing, or it's like your angels was surrounded, encamp about you, that every bullet they just dodged for you. And nothing was able to touch you. And that's just like basically one of the, also another testimony that I have, because I'm not supposed to be here today, because like I said, it was over at least 50 bullets that had been shot, if not more. Couldn't tell you the exact number, but just by looking in the car, you would have thought that no one made it. And I remember sending the pictures to my mom, and she was just like screaming, because like I said, by just looking at the car, you would have thought, oh, them people didn't make it. But I came out of that car, walked out of that car without a scratch on me, without a bullet in me. And like I said, that was only the grace of God. And it was only by his grace and his mercy that even then, in my mess, during me stripping, living life, smoking weed, drinking, taking ecstasy, stripping, being with an abusive man, being in a toxic relationship, and still not living the way I was supposed to live, he still protected me. You know what I'm saying? And so, I don't know, maybe that there's other women, men that have experienced the same thing, or will. I don't know, but I was just felt led to share a little bit of my testimony. Like I said, that's only a little bit of my testimony. I'll be back on here to share, some more things that God has helped me through, and just been my protection. And I know that nobody else could have done that but God. You know what I'm saying? There's no human that could done that, no performed that. And it just made me realize that even through our mess, even through our wrongdoings, even though we be disobedient to God, he still loves us so much. And he's so gracious to us and shows us so much mercy, that even when we were supposed to be dead and gone, he still protected us. He still allowed us to live, even in doing wrong. So as I look back, I'm like, oh my goodness, God, you were just a good father. Like, I could have been dead. Like, so many people I've done known that's done died, but you gave me a second chance. And sometimes I be thinking, like, who am I? But obviously, I'm somebody. Obviously, I'm special to my father, because if not, I would not be here to be able to tell my testimony. So, like I said, I realized that dealing with, I used drugs to suppress my, some of my pain, which by the time I came sober, it was back to reality. So I just had to smoke again or drink again, or, like I said, I only took ecstasy for probably like a month or a month and a half straight, and I had lost so much weight, so I ended up stopped doing that. But like I said, I was still entangled with a man that he hit me so hard one time with something. I don't even remember to this day what he hit me with, but he hit me so hard that when I went to the doctor, they told me that I would have to have construction, eye construction, because he had fractured my eye socket. And I also have, if you can see right here, this is a scar. I don't know if you can see the scar right there, but that is from where, he hit me. And I remember went to the hospital and they was asking me, who did to you? And I just lied and said somebody jumped me. They said, do you know the names of the girls? No. They asked me all this information. I was not telling them nothing because it's so crazy, but I was still in love with this man after he done did that to me, and I was willing to go back to him, and which I did. And guess what happened? He hit me again. And it affected the same area. So it took me 2 times basically to get really, really physically hurt from this man to finally be like, you know what? I'm walking away from this. And I said, God, I promise that you ain't gotta make me look the way I look, before. But if you can just heal my eye to the point to where it's not that noticeable, and like I said, I still have this scar to remind me. I said, I promise I will not go back to him. And like the devil works, of course he tries to bring the men back, and he did try, but I was at a point to where I didn't go back, to him. And after a couple of months, he ended up getting locked up and for doing some crazy stuff, and then he went to jail. And he had asked one of his cousin's girlfriends that I know, could you have Raisha come testify, in court for me, I guess to help him get out. And I told her, no. Like, you could tell him no. Not that I didn't forgive him for what he done, but you really, fracture my eye socket, man, then you hit me again and you think I'm about to come to your defense. No, you have to call on Jesus. But like I said, I just wanted to give that testimony to let women know out there that you are worth, and you are God's daughter. He looks at you as a queen. You don't have to take your clothes off. You don't have to, like I said, be with a man that doesn't know your worth or value, because he's hurt or he's got demons or dealing with spirits or dealing with just battling stuff in his life that he doesn't know. Sometimes they know it's wrong, but it's like when somebody has a stronghold over them, they don't know how to fight that off. You know what I'm saying? So they tend to put their hands on women, or they tend to do drugs or whatever else the case. But what I'm saying is, women, I want to if any woman ever is going through what I've been through or what I been through in the past, not only it's not, God does not want you there. God does not intend you to be in no toxic relationship or in being in a relationship of a man putting his hands on you. You deserve way better than that, and you are a queen. So you have to realize that you are what you attract, and if you think that of yourself, that is what you are going to attract. So you got to think highly of yourself, that I do deserve the best. I do deserve a man that loves me, that will not put his hands on me, that will not abuse me, you know what I'm saying? And that will not put me in harm's way, period. You know what I'm saying? That's just not of God. And also that you don't have to sell your body. You don't have to show all your body to men. And yeah, they throwing money or whatever else, but that's still not your worth. And if you really knew what your worth was and how much you were worth, that God died, Jesus died for our sins and he paid the cost, and that cost is priceless. So if the cost was priceless, then that means you priceless. And there's no amount of money no one could ever pay or give you for Jesus dying for you. You know what I'm saying? So just always remember too that you are a queen and you are worth it, and you deserve so much better. And also, women out there that have been through this, do not be afraid to share your testimony, because there are other women that are out there that's dealing with this right now, that just by your testimony could give them that push to be like, you know what, I'm leaving this relationship. This is not what God intended for me, and God wants the best for me. You know what I'm saying? Every good and perfect gift comes from above. Okay, anything else, it comes from the devil, and he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So I just want to let y'all know that to keep your head up high. Know that you are a queen and you deserve the best.